It will not fit. Interesting, so it can go one way but not the other. Wow, this was a lot harder than it should have been. In the 2 years that I have been modding watches on YouTube, I have had some magnificent triumphs, but also made some serious blunders. The last time I tried to swap the module between these two watches, I had to give up because they just would not fit. But this time, this module swap must work. In fact, I promise you that we are going to get this to fit even if I have to use force. And because you asked for it, we're also going to see if the Royale module fits into the Sanda and the SKMEI, so stick around. The two watches you will need for this mod are the iconic Casio Royale AE-1200 and also the Casio WS-1700H, released just this year. Now, I have bought a brand new version of this watch just for the occasion, and links to all of the watches, tools, and parts you see today will be linked for you in the description below. Now, you're probably wondering, why did I say in the title that one of these watches is rare? Well, it's actually this version of the WS-1700H. And the reason that it's rare is not actually because of this particular colorway. No. It's rare because of an issue with the internal module which prevents dual time from working correctly. And we have done a full video on that just here if you'd like to check it out. Now, these were quickly recalled by Casio, but I snapped one up within the first few weeks, so here it is. Now, some people say that this watch may appreciate in value due to the rare defect, but I don't care. We're going to be breaking it if we have to get this module swap to work. Oh yeah. Now let's get this magnificent beauty on for a quick wrist check, and at the moment I'm currently wearing the Baby G BLX 560, which we did a full 1 week review of here if you missed it. There you have it. So this is the before of what the WS-1700H looks like on my 6.5 inch wrist. Isn't that beastly? And here is the before wrist check of the Casio Royale AE-1200. Doesn't that look classy as well? Now, before we get into the mod, I would love to put a screen protector on this Casio WS-1700H just to make sure this resin glass does not get scratched. Now, I do have here some screen protectors for the Casio Royale. They're not a perfect fit, but I'm going to put one on anyway just to add that extra layer of protection. If you want to get some of these, pick them up at genie.us/protect, linked below. Dang it, I got a little hair under there. Time for take 2. And it's my last one, so I better buy another 5-pack after this. Oh yeah, I feel much better about that already. In my full review of the WS-1700H, which is here if you missed it, we first attempted the module swap, and the reason it did not work is because of these little internal faceplates that cover the module. What we found is that they simply do not fit each other. So that's why I have this handy wireless Dremel on hand, which we are going to use to file down the edges of the faceplates to ensure that they fit. We are also going to perform a strap swap on this WS-1700H with some beautiful straps from Vario.sg. And I've been really impressed with their leather straps that we installed on this F91W, which was in this video here if you missed it. So let's take a look at what we have in store today. It is this pair of beautiful 18mm straps, and as you can see they have a ring around all of the buckle holes, which is fantastic to see, as what I've noticed with some of the other NATO straps that I have is that these little holes tend to start fraying with usage. So this is a really innovative solution to prevent that. So let's get these installed. Now, while we have these straps off, one of the wonderful things about this desert colored design is look at that black contrast with the back half of the watch. I am a massive fan of that design. So let's get these new straps on, and fortunately they have the quick release spring bars, don't they? Oh no, they don't, although they are embedded into the strap itself. So let's get these in. Absolutely wonderful. Look at how nicely that color matches, and even over to the back we have a black on the back of the straps that matches the underside of this case. How cool is that? Oh yeah, that's already one hell of a handsome upgrade. Now let's keep going with the module swap. And since a lot of you guys wanted to know if the Royale module fits in the Sander and the SKMEI, we're going to test that right now for you as well. So let's bust out all of these modules and see what can swap. Alright, all the case backs are off, and that was nice and easy thanks to this electric screwdriver, which you can pick up at genie.us/edriver. Now let's try some of these different module swaps and see what's actually compatible. First of all, let's try the faceplates, as that's where this whole debacle of compatibility begins. Let's start with this 1700 faceplate just here. Okay, let's see if it'll fit cleanly into the Royale. Okay, that just dropped right in. That looks like it's going to fit without any issues. That's really good to see. And into the Sander. Yep, dropped right into the Sander as well. And even into the SKMEI. So guys, it would appear that this WS-1700H housing fits perfectly into all of the different clones. Now for the Royale faceplate, we'll try it in the WS-1700. And here is where the issue occurs. As you'll see, it does not want to drop down cleanly into this WS-1700H, okay? So we are going to have to find a way to trim this using the Dremel. And test it in the Sander. Yep, so the Royale OG faceplate fits into the Sander and also fits cleanly into the SKMEI. Brilliant. Now it's time for the Sander faceplate. Let's try it in the WS-1700. Nope, too big. That does not want to fit. Let's try it in the Royale. Too big as well. It will not fit the Royale. Let's try it in the SKMEI. Oh, there you go. So the SKMEI can handle the Sander faceplate, but it's the only other one that can. And finally, it's the SKMEI faceplate. All right. Will it fit in the WS-1700? Nope. Too fat. Can it fit in the Royale? Nope. Also too fat. And finally, into the Sander? No. So it appears that the SKMEI faceplate can only fit in its own housing. Very interesting. All right, we've tested all of the faceplates. Let's get them all back into their respective spots. Alrighty, now it's time to test the modules. Let's make a start with the module from the WS-1700H. Okay, this one just here. Will it fit easily into the Royale? That looks like a clean fit to me. Okay. Actually, it might be a little bit, yeah, it's not pushing in as far as I would like, but we are going to come back to this anyway and find out for certain. All right. And will this module fit into the Sander? It looks like it is. That is a very clean fit, guys. Look at that. Absolute ease to drop that one in. And not that I think anyone would want to do this, but can it fit in the SKMEI? No. That is too tall, guys. It will not go in, okay? So let's move on to the next. We're going to try the OG Casio Royale module just here with the world map and all. Let's see, will it drop into the 1700? Well, it's got a bit of resistance there. Same sort of deal as the 1700 going into the Royale. It doesn't go down all the way. So I suspect that Casio have put something in place to prevent that. So we may have to do some filing to get this to fit. Let's try the OG Royale into the Sander. Nope. Too tall. That is not going to fit, guys. There's your answer to that. And will it fit into the SKMEI? No, it will not. Now for the Sander module, will it fit in the 1700? No, that ain't going to fit without some trimming. All right, what about the Royale case? Nah, also that is not going to fit. And guys, I can see why. Look, you see that little notch just there, that little cutout? This module doesn't have that. So these are the kind of things that they've put in place to prevent there being compatibility. And finally, the sander module, will it fit in the SKMEI? Yes, it will. With ease, in fact. So there's your answer to that one. And that brings us to our final module, which is the SKMEI. Here it is, guys, the SKMEI module. The WS-1700, nah, too big. The Royale, nope, too big again. That little notch is preventing it from going in. And finally, the sander. It will not fit. Interesting, so it can go one way but not the other. So, hope that's answered all of your questions about the module compatibility, guys. Let's get these all back together. And I always like to re-grease the gasket from a watch after I have opened it, just so that it retains its waterproof rating. So what we do is take our gasket, drop it into the sponge here with some special silicone grease. As part of lubri joints, we give that a couple of twists, and bingo, this is now nice and waterproof and ready to go. Alright, the sander and the SKMEI are taken care of, but we're going to leave these two open because we've got some more work to do and figure out how we're going to get these to fit. Now, these are the two that we really want this swap to work with. So let's get these faceplates out and see if they will fit. Okay, that fits in nicely, but it's this Royale one that just does not want to fit the 1700 so easily. We do have that gap. Alright, it's just not quite as close to the lens as it needs to be. Let's give them a bit of a side-by-side and actually see what the issue is here. Do you notice any difference there? Oh yeah, hang on, look at that. Oh, it's that notch. You see that notch at the top left? Look at how pronounced it is on this one, and look at how microscopic that notch is on this one. It's those notches just at the top there. One's a little bit smaller. Okay, so we are going to try and file that and see if it makes a difference. I've got my little Dremel here. Okay, now I'm actually probably going to have to install a different head that's just going to be a little bit narrower to drill that out. This one looks pretty perfect. All right, let's do it. So there's that little notch there. Let's try and make it just a little bit bigger. All right, we've definitely widened that out a bit. Let's see if it'll fit now. It's definitely going in further than it did, but there's still something holding it back. Okay, so I've kind of pulled down against that notch there because that's where the contact point was. We're just going to keep doing slow adjustments, guys, and testing. Oh, look at that, guys. Do you see that? That ridge there is what's stopping it from going down all the way. It's getting caught on that ridge. So I reckon if we trim off some of the plastic just here, it's going to be able to go down nicely. Yeah, look at that. See how it's nice and flat on the right-hand wall there in the middle, just here. But look, it doesn't have that little ridge. That little ridge just there is what's ruining everything. Now, we can either try and get rid of the ridge itself, but I think that's too dangerous. I think what'll be much easier is if we just try and trim away at the faceplate along the right side, and I reckon we're going to be able to drop it in very easily. We're going to take care of that damn ridge. Okay. Might this be enough? I mean, that's pretty much down. Maybe take a bit off these corners as well. They seem to be holding us back a little bit. Okay, now guys, I wanted to say something very important. We've taken a bit of material off the corners and this ridge, but we do not want to take off too much, otherwise this faceplate will be rattling around on the inside. So just a little bit at a time is all we're going to keep doing. Let's try this now. That's pretty well in. This side is a little bit high, so we're also going to trim some off here. All right. We've now shaved off from both edges. Let's see how this goes. Bingo. Oh yeah, so look at that, guys. The way it just pressed down there, we are now right next to both of those little ridges, and the faceplate is perfectly down. That is a tremendous fit, okay? I'm really, really happy with that. So just to reiterate, guys, for anyone who does want to try this, let's go through what you do need to trim. First of all, very important to file out the notch just here, okay, to increase the size of that so that it can fit. And secondly, file off just a little bit at this side and also at the other side so that it can fit down against the two ridges in the WS-1700H. So we're now going to make sure this is clean, because inevitably some of the dust would have got in here from the trimming. And we want to make sure that this is squeaky clean as well, with all of those shavings gone. Ready to go. Press it down next to that ridge. Oh guys, that is so satisfying. Oh, there's a bit more dust actually. Oh man. So, you know what? I think this looks like a job for Rodico. So this is a tool that I have not had to use in a very long time. This is Burgeon Rodico, and it's basically a sticky, it's almost like blue tack, which to be honest, you probably could use if you don't want to buy Rodico, but this is the stuff that the pro watchmakers do use. So we're just going to open this up, get a nice amount there, and we're just going to stick up any of these parts in here. And if you do want to get your hands on any Rodico, guys, pick it up at genie.us/Rodico. Drop our nice clean faceplate in. Press it into the ridge, and this is good and ready to go. Look at that fit, guys. Oh my God. Now, there is one last thing that I wanted to try as an experiment to the modules before we go. Treat. Bubble is here not only to ask for a treat, but to remind you to ram that like button. Aren't you, Bubble? Good girl. Treat. All right, but only if you give me your paw. Paw? Treat. Paw. She's having none of it. Paw. Treat. Paw, paw. There you go, good girl. Now you get a treat. Alrighty, the faceplates are ready to go. And just before we get these modules in for the final build, I have one crazy idea that I wanted to try. Who remembers my build of the Casio LF20W, which you can view here if you missed it, where we installed this blue gradient lens filter? Okay, it looks quite nice, but unfortunately these lens filters, for what they are actually a little bit pricey in my opinion. So I had a crazy idea. What if I just used regular tape that was colored? So here I've bought a pack of rainbow tape. Guys, this whole pack of 6 different colored tapes was literally less than $3 on AliExpress. So I'll leave a link below or go to genie.us/tapes. We're going to try if these can actually achieve the same results without needing to spend as much money on Etsy. So see how the module of the WS-1700H, they've kind of differentiated different areas with different colors. I want to do the same for the Royale, okay? I'd like it if the map was maybe blue in this version, since I've already got a green version. This might represent the water quite well. And then the little kind of almost like a radar dish at the top left there, I want to make that green. I think that would be a great match. So why don't we give this a try and see if it's worth doing. Now, it looks quite bright green here, but I'm wondering, once we peel it, how bright that'll actually be. It's not that much at all, to be honest. Oh, and it is leaving these streaks behind. Maybe unless we get a solid pull. All right. Let's cut some of this tape off. I mean, it's got a green tinge to it. Let's try it on some paper to see. Some regular old paper. If we stick this on, I mean, yes, it's green, but it's very subtle. I mean, potentially, you could, of course, do multiple layers to get it a bit darker. That does seem to work. Let's give it a try. Let's just try. We just need a square. Actually, I don't know. Guys, to be honest, I've just got a bad feeling about this. I just don't think... Okay, I've been giving it some thought, and a couple of things have come to mind. First of all, it would be really optimal if we could find a way to simply tape it across the back of this so that we're not, you know, actually ruining the module itself or, you know, making it really sticky on that thing. So that's one option. The other thing is, guys, I'm kind of at the point where I might just concede and say that I just don't think it would go down smoothly. So I may just give up on that particular idea, and I may instead use one of the many actual gradient lens filters designed for this particular module that I got on Etsy. I do want to use one that's a bit green, so I've got a couple of options here. I'm thinking either this dark green to yellow, I guess. I think we're going to go with this lighter one just here. Okay, so we're going to cut this out and get this ready for use on our module. So I want it to be this way up with sort of the blue at the top. So one thing I've learned, guys, you definitely don't want this to be too big. This looks perfect, but yeah, if the edges are hanging over, it makes bubbles and looks really, really bad. So we're going to install this just like that, and I'll just make sure that we have wiped this clean so we get no little dust or bubbles under there. Oh Lord, no. Oh shit. Look, I have fumbled this. It's gonna have my fingerprints on it, I reckon. Let's try. I don't know. That was stupid. Oh, what have I done? Nah. I've even put it too far to the left. That's definitely going to be a do-over, guys. Oh, man. Oh, well. You live and you learn. We're going to be more careful next time. Oh, boy. I think luckily, I did get pairs of this, okay? So I do have another one of this exact same color. All right, let's do it right this time, guys. We're going to be a bit more careful. I have my other version of this lens filter, okay? There we go. Now, we are at least going to get some use out of these $3 rainbow tapes that I got. We're going to at least use one to, I guess, hold it so that I don't get my big greasy fingerprints all over it, okay? So maybe if we cut a piece like this, there we go, guys. We're going to get our $3 worth for sure. We're going to stick that on there, all right? Just to sort of position it as we lower it down, all right? Hopefully that'll work. So let's make sure that this is the correct size. Yep. And let's do it. Oh man, I can't really see. Hang on. Nope. I'm not happy with that. We're coming back up. Yeah, let's go down there. Okay. That worked out much better. Thank the Lord for this $3 tape, okay? Smooth that out a bit. Much happier with that. Now, let's finally get these modules installed into their new cases. In our AE-1200 Royale case, we're going to install this beautiful WS-1700H module. Oh. Guys, we are not done. There's still ridges holding up this faceplate. I thought it went down well, but I don't know. Nah, definitely not. Look at that clearance. We've still got more work to do. But we might be able to assemble this one, which we know is going to be a winner. We have already done the work on this, so let's get it in. Oh, of course. Lubri joints for the gasket. That thing's been drying out in the air for quite some time now. I've noticed some imperfections with the way the sticker's gone down, and also looks like there might be a piece of dust in there. And also, look at this. there's somehow, I don't know if you can see that, there's somehow dust under this screen protector. I don't know how we didn't catch that earlier, but we're going to have to take this off and put on a new one when it arrives, of course. Alright, and we'll clean off the inside module again as well. I don't know if that little, you see right there, I think that's not just a bubble, that's a bit of dust. Yikes. Which means this filter has to come off and we're going to have to do another colour. I guess we've got no choice now, do we? We're going to have to go with the other version that I was looking at, this green one just here. And look at that, there's a bit of something on the corner there as well, so I might use some isopropyl alcohol and give this an actual proper clean. We want the light side down. Ooh. We might have come just too far, and that might not be enough to cover when it's on the faceplate. So let's have a look. Yeah, unfortunately, we do have a bit of a gap there, so we're going to have to try one more time. Okay, we're back. I've had some time to regroup. Now let's get this on once and for all. That looks good so far. Hopefully it's covered up all of the edges that we need. Let's have a quick look with the faceplate. Yep, there's still a gap at the left side there, which is very disappointing. We're going to have to pick another colour, or in fact even just give up. You know what? We're going to try something different. Maybe I'm going to leave some of the black border here, just so I can be absolutely sure that it's not going to, you know, leave too much, cut too much off the edge. So I'm going to cut off the text, that's for sure. All right. But other than that, if this border is on here, that might actually be a good thing, because that means even if you can see it, it'll at least be a nice straight line. And I think this will help line it up as we put it down as well. So let's give this a shot. Now let's really try and make sure this goes down. In fact, I'm going to move you over here. I'm really going to lock in for this, guys. I'm going to use the end of my spring bar tool to gently push that towards. In fact, maybe if I lift up this corner, oh yeah, that has got rid of the bubble. Now, we did go against my rule of, you know, not having it too big. And as you can see, it's left this kind of bubbly section here where it's kind of propped up against the edge. But guess what? I don't think that's going to be a problem in this case, because once we get this, oh, look at that. Yep, that looks absolutely beautiful. Guys, I am so happy with that. Now let's get this together. And you know what they say, everything happens for a reason, and we have ended up with a really nice color for this lens. So let's get it together. Awesome. Oh yes. Oh yes, that looks absolutely magnificent, guys. I'm so happy we landed on the yellow after the failed attempts with the green. Now let's get this Royale installed as well. The ridges we've got to get rid of are just at the top there. See? Those two spots and those three spots just there. So we're going to have to do a bit of filing on this faceplate in those particular areas. Let's try this on for size. Not quite still getting a bit jammed. We'll start with this notch. It's making progress. Oh, hang on a minute. That is really almost in. See how it's got below those two lips at the top there? The bottom half doesn't seem to be going down flush as I would like. So let's investigate that. You can see by the angle of the against the internal of the pushers there that it's not down flat, unfortunately. Oh man. So we're not, oh, we're still not quite getting over those bottom lips. Maybe if we finesse. Nah. We're going to have to keep going, guys. So we have to really remove quite a substantial amount of material from this one to get this to work. Really interesting. Now, I don't want to keep coming off the bottom, guys. So we are going to take a little bit off the top this time. Surely. Surely. Okay. This looks really good. Yes. Guys, I think we've done it. Yes, look at that. All three of the lips at the bottom have been covered. We are now below those, and even those two, 1, 2 at the top there. Wow, this was a lot harder than it should have been. But let's try and get this module in and see how it looks. Oh yeah, now that is a much better fit. Alright guys, we have finally done it, and it's time for the big reveal. I told you, this must work, and we were going to make it work no matter what. Here they are. Ready? Boom! These are our two magnificent new builds. The Royale inside a WS-1700 case with a beautiful yellow gradient filter, and of course the Royale with the WS-1700 inside. This looks absolutely breathtaking, doesn't it? Let's get these two bad boys on for a wrist check. You ready? And make sure you are subscribed for more cool watch mods. Here we go. Boom! What an absolute stunning beauty. Now for the next. Boom, and here's our other build. Just look at how nice these look, guys. I am so pleased with how they have turned out. Do let me know below which one you think looks the coolest, build number 1 or build number 2, and a reminder that links to all of the watches, parts and tools we've used will be for you in the description below. A massive thank you to our Goat Crew channel members for supporting the channel, you absolute legends. Here's a link to our Instagram page, come and follow us there. Up next, why don't you watch our WS-1700 review and mod video, or perhaps our LF20W mod video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.